Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel. Right guys, been working on this ALX 1080. So I end up with the job. It's for a guy that I brought some parts up and he said, "Oh, can you put it all together and all that type of thing?" Mate, what a job and a half. You had all the parts and that, but mate, so much work to do. Virtually you had to virtually rebuild it, because these machines, you've got to have the right parts, and everything has to be Loctite. You have to double check everything, and because this engine would put out probably about 30 horsepower, mate, and the sheer weight of this engine is unbelievable in the rear end. So the springs, the shocks he had on there, weren't good enough, and that, so the problem now, you can't buy IRC shocks now. I'm glad I brought everything what I need for my Bajas and that. They're far better than these Crackling shocks, and there's good reasons why, because they don't have a bleed valve on these. And they're not as good as the IRC. Anyway, so he had this, would come with these springs, and they weren't copping because of the sheer weight of this. So the new heavy duty springs, which you can see I put one on one side, they're 3.5s, where the originals on the rear are 3 mil. So you need the 3.5 to do on that. Anyway guys, so the guy left the bearing out of the gearbox. I had to take the gearbox all out, put the bearing in. There was no dust cover in that, so Taylor doesn't supply that with the kit, so I'll put that in there, so I've got no end float or side movement on that shaft. So yeah, it's all coming together. All the parts are here and that. So basically you got a bags of bolts and all that type of thing, and worked it all out. So the only drama I sort of basically now got it together. I've got to put the spring on this. Now when you run the ALX dog bones in these, you got to have virtually parallel. If you have an angle on that, they'll spread the pins out quite rapid. That's the only thing I don't like with ALX axles. Compared to IRC. IRC, you don't have that problem. I had to buy the same sort of setup for another Baja, the hex setup, because you couldn't buy IRC, but IRC is far better than ALX. There's no wear and all that problem. You can run angle, but the ALX, you've virtually got to have your dog bones parallel to your cups if you don't want to wear those pins out, because when the pins wear out, then they start locking up on you. Alright, so the only drama I'm having now is I'm running the U-Butte brake setup with the free copper plates and that type of thing. Yes, it just, when you set it all up, you're right on the edge here with the disc rotor on the right hand side towards the plate. So I'm just going to have to probably take a little bit off the cam plate. Trying to get it in a fraction more and run a shim, so I can just get those disc rotors a bit more on the hex, because realistic, the hex is not right where you brake disc rotors sit on. Should be more over this way. So when you actually bolt it all up, it's actually right on the edge, and really you don't want any play with your rotors, any play in that area, because it can try to get off the hex. So that's the only headache I've got at the moment. Plus, with the pipes that they supply to go with this type thing, they don't run a gasket on the back, so you're supposed to run a little bit of silicone on it. They don't run springs on the rear to go to the exhaust, to hold the exhaust on, which I don't like that idea. I can weld pieces on the pipe and that, so I can run the springs, because the rest of the pieces that come with the pipe, it's all there with it. So the panty relies on a plate on the front where your pipe is, and that stops it coming off, but realistic, that means your pipes are flapping. The other issue, you had a short a brake cam on this, so I put a longer, putting a longer one in. But the issue at the end of the day, work on this servo, which we're not running these servos. I've got a more stronger servo. This is more 1/8 scale servos, what's sitting in here. So I've got a 75 sitting here, then I've got a 25 on the brake. But this servo for the brake-in throttle will have to go up about that high. I'm going to have to raise it so to allow for your linkages to go, and your brake linkage and everything to be in the right spot. You can't have that down there. So yeah, this is the thing, guys. If you decide to do it by one of these twins or ALX 100 or 80 or whatever, this is some of the things you will encounter. Nice machine, but mate, the sheer weight on that rear end is just unbelievable. More heavier than a Supreme 71, a Taylor 71, I can tell you that now. There is some weight on the rear. But yeah, I'm getting on that. Yeah, so yeah, I sort of don't like doing jobs for other people really, because I've got my own stuff. So I've got me new toy lossy, well, it's an LT King motor type of thing, and then I want to put the aluminium diffs and that. This 45 goes quite well, so I want to put the locker in the centre. This thing should wheel stand, because I know that engine in a Baja, mate, the wheel stand is not a problem. I've worked out these 45s, these rovan 45s. So anyway, guys, that's what I've been doing. I sort of just showing some of the things I'm doing, so I was keeping myself occupied. But you know, virtually this is like a full rebuild. You're doing it for a customer or a person, you know, type of thing. And the amount of work that goes in something like this, you have to do it right. If you don't do it right, there's a cost at the end of the day, because this thing will just vibrate apart. And just having that missing bearing in that gearbox, if you started up and fired it up and hit send it, you would have smashed the gearbox to the amount of power this engine put out. But yeah, guys, so anyway, just let you know what's happening. You're still fiddling around with cars and that type of thing, but this sort of time I'd rather do it on my own vehicles and not on someone else's. It just it's too much labour involved in this, and it's just unbelievable. And just some of the things you just got to work out, just get around things to make it work at the end of the day. All right, guys, I'm out. Just remember, there's method all matters, and I'll see you on the next one. I'm out, guys.